morning everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Katie and I am a 3rd grade teacher in the state of Florida, and this is the start of a week in my life. So glad that you guys are here for this week's video. I'm gonna try to get as much footage as I can to just kind of show you what a week in 3rd grade is like for us right now. It's going to be a busy week as usual. It's a full week. Last week was our 4-day week coming off of Labor Day. So I just know that this week is gonna feel really, really long. So I'm here early this morning, got my coffee ready, just to get some things done in my classroom. Like I need to return some science materials that I borrowed last week. I need to review my math lesson, make sure I know exactly what we're doing, what we're going over today. And then I also had a lot of copies to bring in because I was prepping some writer's notebooks, which I'll show you in just a second, to do during our writing block today. So we're starting off the day with math. We worked on rounding on Friday in math. And so now I think we're going to like estimating sums and using rounding to help us add as we estimate. So that shouldn't be too difficult. It's mostly review so far, which has been good for my students. And it's really clear for me to see like, okay, these are the ones that got it, these are the ones that don't got it. And so I'm gonna pull some of the ones that don't got it today with like a reteach page on rounding, make sure we really know how to round numbers to the nearest 10 and the nearest 100 before we keep moving on. Then we'll have our AR time and our PE time today. Then when they come back, our reading block is a little unique because how we're working it with our MyView curriculum is we're doing 5 days of teaching for reading. So we have 5 days to go over like all of the content. On the 6th day, we do our assessments, so our spelling test and our reading assessment. And then on the 7th day, what we're doing is a day for writing because it's hard to fit writing in with all of the reading stuff during the week. So I went home and prepped some writer's notebook things that we're gonna use to do writing today. We're starting our writer's notebooks and we're also gonna start personal narratives. So I kind of went through and I went ahead and cut all the examples so like I could make my writer's notebook. That way I don't have to glue the pages up while the students are doing theirs. I can just kind of show them what it's supposed to look like and they can cut and glue. The reason I went with writer's notebooks, I've never done it before, but I really needed a resource that would be like super helpful and have a lot of good information for me to teach these genres in 3rd grade because it's very different than 1st grade writing. 1st grade writing, we're just excited when they get their ideas down. I feel like these kiddos can go a little bit more in depth, like really think about what's a good intro sentence, what's a good closing sentence, and all of those things. So I wanted to have a resource for that. And then I also knew if we're taking our whole reading block today to do writing, that we have enough time to cut and paste into writer's notebooks and like take our time with the writing and not feel rushed. And we're teaching personal narrative for like 4 more weeks. So it's like 4 more day 7s per se that I get to teach personal narrative. So if we set up our journals today and we get partially through personal narrative, awesome. Next time we do it, we'll get a little bit further. And then by like the 3rd and 4th time, we won't be doing anything like cutting or gluing anything in our notebooks. We'll just have writing time. They'll get to practice writing personal narrative stories. So I'm gonna show you kind of what the inside looks like. Of course, I will link the product that I use below. So if you want to get this writer's notebook, you can as well. So let me show you what that looks like. All right, so I just made the writer's notebook in a regular composition book, wide ruled. We've got our cover page, my writer's notebook. I put the Writing Superstar little anchor chart from Maylene in the front because I have the poster up there on the board. So this will be good for them to remember all the writing rules. We'll talk about when we need capital letters, when we need punctuation marks, and we'll write those in there. We'll talk about incomplete and complete sentences, how we need a subject and a predicate, which is the who and the what, and then we have a which one is complete, which one is incomplete. So they color in the one that's complete green, and if it's incomplete, they color it red. Then I just have a blank page here. We've got statements, questions, and exclamations. So we're gonna write an example of each kind of sentence. And then over here, we're gonna use this page to kind of brainstorm. I'm gonna stop and read a book. I'm gonna read Ralph Tells a Story, and it's about a boy who's trying to find an idea for a story. So it's a good one. And then on this page, we're gonna fill it with all kinds of story ideas that we come up with. And then this is where we jump into personal narrative. I don't know if we'll get this far, but talking about sharing ideas, choosing a small moment, bold beginnings, mighty middles. So I'll let you know what we get through at the end of the day. All right, after we do our writer's notebook today, we have science. We're doing like a quiz activity as a group to kind of wrap up our mass and volume that we've been working on. Then later this week, we're starting solid, liquids, and gas. And then next week, we're moving on to social studies for like the next 4.5 weeks. So we did like 4 weeks of science and 4 weeks of social studies, and we kind of go back and forth like that, which I like because it gives them enough time to like get the repetition and the pattern going. Then it will be time for lunch, recess, and then our computer time when they come back in. So should be a good day today. I'm gonna continue to get my room ready to go, and I'll check in with you later. Y'all, good morning. It is Wednesday. I did not vlog yesterday. I had good intentions and it just didn't happen. It was a good day yesterday and I didn't vlog Monday afternoon either. So we're still getting back in the swing of it, and that's okay. Monday went well. We did the writer journals during reading that I talked to y'all about, and we did our math lesson. Yesterday was kind of quick because we went to the book fair in the morning instead of doing math. And so that made our day a little different. So we didn't get a math lesson in. But then we started all of our new information in reading. So now we're switching to realistic fiction. We changed vocabulary words, and we changed our spelling list. So we had a lot of new information to go over. So it felt like I was talking and talking and talking forever and ever during reading, but that's okay. Today they'll be able to start their independent work a little bit more. And so I'm looking forward to that. I shared what their independent work looks like in my last vlog. So if you're interested in looking at like their spelling and their vocabulary packets and our rotation checklist, you can check out last vlog. Just as an update for that, I graded last week's work and gave feedback, and I could see like, okay, a lot of students finished this, some of them didn't finish this. But I also think it was good for the ones who didn't finish to see like they didn't get an opportunity to get all the way to the choice centers, because I had a lot who did finish all of the work and got to do the choice centers. So I'm still trying to like navigate what's too much work for them to do in these 5 days, technically 4, I guess, in these 4 days, what's too much for them to do. And I can always trim back the spelling and the vocabulary packets if I need to. So we're gonna keep gauging that this week. And I'm also gonna go step by step during my reading block through an example on each page in the spelling and vocabulary, just so we remember all the rules and the directions for those things to get them a good start. I am excited for math today. We're starting adding like double and triple digit numbers, which is exciting and very different from first grade adding. But the curriculum for the next, I think it's like 1.4, 5, 6, and 7. So like the next 4 weeks of the curriculum, each day highlights a different strategy for addition. But what I like is that the practice problems, some of them like force you to use that strategy, but you don't have to. So we're gonna start off today, and I'm gonna see like what strategies they know. That's my plan. I'm gonna give them let them have their whiteboards and write some facts up on the board in just a moment. And like, I'm gonna put the equation up there and say, all right, show me how you would solve this on your whiteboard, which also means I was gonna get some place value blocks out and ready too. So I need to do that in a minute. But I was gonna say, show this to me on your whiteboard and write down how you would solve it, and then compare with the people at your table, and then we'll share some strategies out. I'm gonna do it with like 3 smaller facts, like 19 minus 7, 15 minus 4, stuff like that. And then I think the first example in the book is like 54 minus 17. And today's strategy is focusing on an open number line, which I think is a great strategy and a good visual for the ones who can't quite do it completely mentally yet. But I want to see kind of like what they have, and then introduce it as the next 4 days. We're going to be looking at strategies, and you get to decide like which one you prefer, which one you think is the best. So we'll talk about like picking a best strategy that helps you like be fluent and that's quick for you. It's also Wednesday, and what I was planning to do today, I might do this tomorrow. I'll probably change it to tomorrow. I was planning on getting all of my Pirate Day stuff ready today, but now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, maybe I should just stay after on Thursday and get all that stuff done. But on Monday, we're gonna have a pirate theme day for Talks Like a Pirate Day. And so I just need to get my copies together for that, which really isn't that much. Most of it, I've got some like games and stuff that we're gonna play, so that'll be fun and not like copy-ish. Does that make sense? It won't require as many copies. So I'm gonna go ahead and get stuff pulled up on the board, write those facts, get the place value blocks out, and then stop, pause, assess how much time I have left in my morning. Good morning and happy Thursday. It's a Thursday that's not a Friday, which is okay. I'm just ready for Friday. Put my things away. I'm setting my stuff down, and then all I'm gonna do is turn on my computers, my board and my desktop. And then once I've done that, I am walking down to the office, or I guess I should say up to the office, because I have, let me get this button. I have a lot of copies that I need to make, and I'm going to the copier before anybody gets there, because yesterday afternoon, I was like, oh, I'll go make these copies. That way I don't have to worry about them tomorrow, and I'll feel more finished with my stuff. But I went by the office to drop something else off, and it was occupied, that copying machine. And then I went by the library, and that one was occupied as well. So I'll show you the things that I'm copying. Not a lot. I have our next fluency passage for reading. I have our next fluency for math facts. And then I have a couple of things for Pirate Day, just like a make your own parrot on a paper bag, a pirate book review. And then the last one is an all about like birds fun fact sheet. So I'll show you those in more depth later, but I'm taking them to the office now so I can copy before anybody gets here, because it's early. It's like 7 o'clock. And before I go, I think I have time for a quick outfit of the day. This top is from Loft in 2018. And I really love it. It's kind of shrunk a little bit, but it works today because I'm wearing like a black tank top underneath, so it just kind of blends in with my pants. It's so fun though, and I thought it worked well with the claw clip because I was not doing my hair today. These pants are also from Loft that I also got in 2017, but they always have dress pants. I love these Loft dress pants. They're like more comfortable than jeans, so that's pretty nice. These are like Rocket Dog shoes from a long time ago as well, and I'm just wearing my little Ana Luisa jewelry, and that's it. This is my Thursday fit. All right, so I am now home. I did not pick up the camera this afternoon in my classroom. It was a busy day, so I am putting some pizza, leftover pizza, in the oven that I was initially gonna take for lunch tomorrow. I think I'm just gonna rock peanut butter and jelly for lunch tomorrow, and I'm gonna put this in the oven now because here's kind of how my day went. So this morning, I last minute decided that we were gonna make bookmarks for Grandparents' Day tomorrow that I had like kind of given some thought to, but not necessarily. So while my kids came in and they were doing stem bins, I was also working with them on making bookmarks for grandparents. All right, I'm gonna do some foil. So here we go. Here's the foil. Okay, we're back. So we started to do bookmarks, so they did thumbprints, and it was like grandparents are forever in our heart. So we did that while we were doing stem bins. Took a long time, but that's okay. So our like stem bin time was extended in the morning. And then we had shortened math time. And then I remembered in the middle of math, because I got a reminder on my Apple Watch that one of our guidance counselors was coming to do some minute meetings where she just pulled kids in the hallway and did like some check-ins with them. Forgot that was happening. So we were already behind in math, and then we were adding that into the mix. And then we did AR time, and we went to PE. And when I got to PE, I came back and I was like, oh my gosh, because it just felt like my head was doing this all day, all morning, I should say. So that happened, and it was exciting. And then I sit down and I get an email, and I'm working on getting my reading endorsement in the state of Florida, and I have one more course left to take. I took one last semester, and so I have one left, and this one is like the course where you write lesson plans and you implement them and your instructor grades them and all this stuff, yada yada. One of my assignments is due tomorrow, the first lesson plan, and I didn't know it. The course started on the 8th, and this is the 16th is tomorrow, so it was 8 days to do the first lesson. I was like, oh gosh, I didn't realize it was just gonna be like 8 days to write a lesson. I thought I was gonna have a little more time. So when I got that email, I was like, wait, what is this talking about? And then when I figured it out, I was like, crap. So I'm about to eat pizza and sit and do that here. The rest of the day was pretty good. We had a surprise fire drill practice. So that was exciting in the middle of reading. And then we did recess, play, lunch, computer, all of the things. So it was a very busy day, and tomorrow is going to also be very busy because it's Grandparents' Day, and it's a Friday. And then I'm going out of town this weekend because we're going to Universal with some friends. So all of that to say, what I'm doing tonight is I'm making this pizza. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to work on that lesson plan that I have for my reading competency course and crank some things out. And I will see y'all on Friday. Good morning. I am here so stinking early today. It is Friday and it is Grandparents' Day and we had to park in the back and wear our school shirts and all the things today. And it's the last day of the book fair and I've had some grandparents asking me what I want from the book fair. I just plugged my lights in and then unplugged them. Okay, let's try this again. Plug the Christmas lights in and don't unplug them. Okay. So I'm gonna go down to the book fair and make a list of some things so I can give it to that grandparent. And I also need to make copies because I'm gonna be out next week with a sub and I worked on my sub plans last night. So I'm gonna go try to get to the copier early again this morning, just like I did yesterday. And I wasn't even early enough yesterday. I also woke up super duper early because I curled my hair today and I packed because we're going to Universal Studios after school today with some friends. So welcome to the Friday chaos. I will probably check in at the end of the day, but it may not be here because I'm gonna be going home like right at 3:30. But yeah, other than that, I'm gonna try to make it like a pretty normal morning and we'll just see how it goes. Wish me luck. All right, we just made it home. It's been a long day, y'all, a long day. Setting all my things down. So while I do, I'll just tell you how the day went. It was madness, but in a good way. We finished everything that we needed to do. Math actually went really smooth. We added a new strategy for addition into our toolbox today, which was the break apart strategy. So writing the numbers in expanded form and then adding the ones, tens, hundreds. And it was fun because some of my students were like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And it started to click. So I think a lot of them liked that strategy. Okay, let me get a sip of water because I'm like sweating. Okay, we're at that like temperature degree in Florida where like this morning it was nice and cool and it was like 70. My hair was curled, I was in jeans and my t-shirt and I was like, oh, right, this feels great. And then we get to the end of the day and it's like freaking hot. So that's where we're at right now with Florida weather. I'm gonna sit down because I'm tired. But I don't have my tripod, so I'm just gonna set this right here. Is that okay? Y'all, this week the camera angles have not been like clutch, but it's fine. So we did that in the morning. Then the kiddos went to special area. And then after specials, we came back. We did our snack time and then we got started with reading. And I told them this morning from the get-go, which this is a good tip if you're a teacher, if you have something special going on, I wrote the time that it started on the board. And I didn't have very many. I'm not gonna say I didn't have any. Let me see if I can lean my phone up against the wall here. So stop shaking. There we go. Woo! Okay, winner. We didn't have many kids who asked because I said this is what time grandparent stuff starts. I wrote the time, 1 o'clock on the board, said so if you're wondering and you're like, oh, when does that start? Where can you look? Up on the board. So I kind of went over the whole schedule. And so then when we got to reading, I was like, okay, we've got reading and then this will start at 1 o'clock, but you've got to give me your best effort. And we read our story and used highlighting as a strategy. They love the text this week, so it's been a good one. Thank goodness. So that was really fun. We did kind of like popcorn reading because it was our third time reading the story. First time we used the audio online. Second time we read it as a class all together. And so today I was like, okay, blue table, read this page. Pink table, read this page. And then I kind of mixed it up. I was like, girls, read this page. Boys, read this page. If your number is an odd number, like our classroom numbers, read this page. Even numbers. And then I went by like our school houses. I was like, if you're in this house or this house, you're going to read this page. And that kind of kept it fresh, kept it moving. And then they didn't have to read the whole time, which I think was good, but they were following along. Trying to think if anything else. We did a jigsaw activity with one of the workbook pages where each table did a question and then we shared our answers together. Then they got their independent work time. Some of my kiddos, I think I have three that have already finished their independent work, which is great because we've worked on it for 3 days. So technically 25 minutes for 3 days is 75 minutes that they've had to work on it. So next week on Tuesday, I'll actually be gone with a sub, but that's the day that they'll have to like finish up any of their rotations things. So it's gonna be interesting finding that balance because I have some that, you know, like have only started 2 pages. And then I have some that have finished all of it. So I'm like, okay, how am I gonna like differentiate this so this doesn't happen and it's kind of like a good workload for all of them. And then at the same time, some of the ones who haven't started anything are wasting time and not using their time wisely. So at the same time, I'm kind of like, all right, we gotta get get going and not waste time here. Anyways, so I was able to pull and do some fluency checks while they were doing independent work. Then we had the grandparents come in, and there were so many grandparents, and we just had them come in. We gave them our bookmarks. I kind of gave them the rundown, and then we went to lunch, and it was kind of like a free-for-all for the rest of the day because we have recess after lunch. So I was like, come check in with me when you get to recess and you've left your grandparent to let me know you're here at recess. And some of them did, some of them didn't, some of them I saw and just waved to. So when we called them in for recess, I was like, okay, let's make sure I have all my children. And we did. And then I just was like, you know what, when we go in, we already have extra recess on Friday. So I turned on the best Pick My Kid, which is the app we use. I have a Pick My Kid playlist on YouTube. So I pulled up the best one. I was like, Looney Tunes, that'll hold their attention. So we watched some silent Looney Tunes while we waited for dismissal. Whew, it was nuts. And I'm like still rosy in the cheeks from standing outside for so long during recess that my car was hot. I'm really tired. So I'm giving myself a pat on the back. Shout out to my past self for getting stuff ready, because I was able to finish all of my copies for Pirate Day this week. And then I also today during my planning graded stuff that we did today. And then I finished all my plans for my sub day next week. So make sure you stay tuned if you want to know how Pirate Day and then my sub day, first sub day of the year, how that stuff goes. I'll try to vlog again next week. Maybe I'll get more footage than I did today and this week, but we'll give it a shot, you know? So that's just a glimpse in my life in third grade. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you like it. That helps my channel out a ton. I appreciate you guys, all your comments, bearing with me. It's kind of fun to show you a little bit of, well, what third grade has been like. It's still an adjustment for me, but we're doing well and we're enjoying it. So as always, thank you guys so much for joining, and I will see you in the next one.